I call the meeting to order. Joint session between the commissioners and the council. We have, come tax rate, adoption discussion,
Would you like me to explain?
please.
Okay. So, it was advised during my DLGF meeting. We discussed, different options to hopefully get away from writing ourselves a temporary loan every year. Every year, County General has to borrow like at least $1 million to be able to stay in the black throughout the year. One of our options this year was the reduction, which we did that to help for budgeting. And the other option was some of our CUM fund rates were, the CUM courthouse rate has a good balance in it. And then our first, this is our first collection next year for the CUM voting rate, was probably a little aggressive for what our levy was ready for. And we played around with decreasing those CUM rate amounts and seeing how that would affect. And that will then help the other funds be fully funded and also start building a balance and getting away from that loan process. So, it was my recommendation, along with, DLGF, whenever we spoke, in our workshop, we came up with these rates, which are just a little lower than what we do right now. And then, if we see that is actually, we can start putting money back in the CUM funds, then we can go through the adoption process to increase that. I think it's in April or May of each year for the next year. So it was, I always personally thought that the CUM rates were above and beyond our normal tax levy, and that is not the case. So, the rates that are adopted today is just the amount of our normal levy that will be going into this fund instead of up to fund or to, I guess, fully fund the funds that also are funded by tax rate. So, CUM voting is a fund that is controlled by commissioners. So we would have to have a motion from the commissioners to approve the decreased rate. And then CUM courthouse is controlled by the council. So then we would have to have a motion from council to do that. And then I feel, just to make it unified, that everyone is agreement, I would recommend that we have a third motion that we agree, that both parties agree to the tax rates, just to cover in case the state, I interpreted something wrong, and we are covered that both parties have been agreed to everything.
So,
Any other questions?
any questions to Heather? Don't direct them to me.
You might reiterate, this is not a tax increase, it's strictly
No,
a reallocation of funds.
It's reallocation of funds. So like I said, I always thought that the CUM rates were above and beyond our normal levy until this year. And then I found out that we have a levy, and then that levy then funds your CUM rates first, and then the remaining then goes to fund your health department, county general, reassessment, cemetery funds, election was another one. So. But that is, and I think unfortunately with the way that everything is, we're probably going to have to move these around more often to try to get ahead of the game.
So these rates, the CUM voting rate and the CUM courthouse, are gonna be going down just a little, so more of that money from the levy will go into the general, so we don't have to borrow.
So that we can go into general. So for instance, when I entered our request, county general was underfunded, election was underfunded. Actually, the cemetery fund was underfunded from what was going to be coming in from taxes. So by doing this, this funds the cemetery fund, this funds everything.
So what are we voting, the Coon voting to? Is that the point?
We have a paper for you, if you would like it. So I would need a motion from the commissioners to 0.0065. And then,
What is it presently? 758,
yes, so it's,
like pennies
yes,
on the dollar.
it's less than a thing. It's very, yeah. And then, we would then take down Coombe Courthouse to 0.009.
And that motion actually needs to come from the council.
Council actually have to make a motion for the 0.009, and commissioners would do the 0.0065.
There's my-
So you did a great job.
You're on
explaining
there, that's on top of it.
It was all news to me. Learn something new every day.
I'll make a motion that we reduce Coon Courthouse,
Coombe
Coon
voting.
vote, I'm sorry, to 0.0065. All right, second. All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
So done.
I can make the motion for the council to reduce the Coombe courthouse rate down to 0.009.
Thank you. I'll entertain a second. Pam, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Now, motion for both boards to agree to adopt Coombe voting rate of 0.0065 and Coombe courthouse rate of 0.009.
If one of you want to make the motion, one of you make the second, then
So moved by Chris, second by Mr. Little. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Motion is unanimous.
thank you. We're good.
So I can call for adjournment.
We're all for adjournment.
Good. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make that motion.
So moved by Mr. Little. We got a second? Mr. Denning, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, unanimous.